Welcome back to another episode of Fate of the Norns Ragnarok, where we delve into the really interesting aspects of our role-playing game. So today we will be talking about the Afterlife mechanics in both the core rulebook and in Children of Eriu. Let's start at the beginning. What are Afterlife mechanics? Afterlife mechanics are there to take the sting off of death and give you a proper burial and send-off, and potentially another character that could come back in the future as an Einherjar, a son of Muspell, or a Frey's chosen. The way death works in Fate of the Norns Ragnarok is when you die, there's a chance that the gods or the giants have been watching you and are going to call you up to the big leagues. When you die, you're going to sit quietly as a player, and everyone else at the table is going to raise their drinking horn and recount your character's epic deeds. Remember when Bjorn jumped off the mead hall's roof onto the polar bear's back and ran it through the army of Draugr? That saved the village. So those kinds of stories are going to give you a chance to get into the heavens, and this is where you are going to draw a rune out of a full rune bag, and for every epic deed you get to play a rune on the table. Everyone's going to be recounting your deeds. You have to stay quiet because everyone has to remember your epicness. This really reinforces you as a player want to play memorably at every game session. The next thing that you're going to do is, after you've ended up listing all of your epic exploits, the GM is going to reach into a full rune bag of other runes, and they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to draw one rune, and if this rune matches any of the runes that have played here, you hear the songs of the Valkyries, that they come down, descend, and pick you up and bring you up into the heavens, and you as a player level up. And those are called Disir levels. Disir are family spirits, guardian angels of your family and lineage. They're your ancestors that have come around to make sure that next generations are just as successful, if not more successful than your previous generation. And so as you gain these Disir levels, you get to unlock really cool things in both of these books. And I'm about to go through them right now. So if you haven't seen the overview video, we'll have that link down in the comments below. But this video is really about putting together all the options that you can see for your character's growth as your player level increases. So we'll begin with buying upgrades from the core rulebook. So the very first one is Fylgja. So if you look at all of the boards that we have for different archetypes, when you look at a character like the Scythecona, the outer ring will have 25 abilities and the inner board will have 24. So you're effectively more than doubling your opportunities of different types of abilities that you can unlock by having a Fylgja, which is a guardian angel that basically guides you into greater and greater heroism and basically ends up teaching you a lot of these really cool abilities. The next one is Troll-Blooded. And Troll-Blooded comes with its own boards. So this is the first time the character could be a non-human, something that is of mixed blood. Troll-Blooded, if you read the Icelandic sagas and Norwegian sagas, there are many, many instances where someone is called out to be Troll-Blooded. So this is something that will give you additional boards, and these are small boards that are 3x3 that you can end up adding things like doubling down on certain abilities. So they give you an ability called Keen Aptitude, which allows you to double down on your passive powers. Otherwise, there's no option for that for regular players. And then you can have something that is legendary or infamy. So this is 3 or more dwellers in the heavens, so Disir level of 3. And you can end up creating very advanced archetypes like missionaries and angels of death. So what we have is certain archetypes that are like Lords of the Ash and other books that are kind of behind this Disir paywall, where you need to have a certain handle on the lore of the world to be able to play those archetypes. They're advanced archetypes. And so you've got a whole bevy of basic archetypes, but those few advanced ones are going to be hidden behind that kind of like Disir paywall. And then the last one over here is Immortal. And this is where you can become a Einherjar, which is a chosen of Odin, that they basically live in Valhalla. Or you could be the chosen of the fire giants, Surt's army, as the sons of Muspell. And those are the ones that are destined in the second age of Ragnarok to ride across Bifrost, breaking the bridge and leveling the city to the ground. So these are some of the options that we find in the core rulebook. And now we're going to be getting into Children of Eriu, where we have much more pronounced options because this book came out 10 years after the core rulebook, after Denizens of the North, and after Lords of the Ash. So there's so much more content that we put together in terms of this book, which is definitely thicker than the core rulebook. I will go over these very briefly, but I mean, a lot of them have so much interesting stuff here. So if we go down to the table cam, you get options like we were saying, there's archetypes that are hidden behind a Disir paywall. So you got the Battlesmith archetype, you got the Harbinger archetype, then you can be Knocker-Blooded. So Knockers are similar to Duergar in terms of their ability to craft really wondrous things, but this is more coming from the Celtic myths and traditions. You can be Fomorian blooded, so this is kind of like troll blooded, but you've got different types of 3x3 boards that you could also expand your options on during character creation. You can go become Forge-born, and you could be a Seelie soul or an Unseelie soul. So these are the ones that are Fey-blooded, depending on which court you're coming from. Then we've got legendary infamous heritage, which is already covered in the previous book. Then you have things like the Red Thirst, which is Crom's faithful. So Crom is a proto-Celtic god that demands blood and sacrifice for victory on the battlefield. You could be Blessed Ones, and these are followers of the white god, so either you're playing the monk or the missionary. You've got Eoshi, which are very powerful fae, so these are along the lines of elves. And don't think D&D elves, think more, Tolkien elves. Those are the ones that are closer to the myths, where elves are really like divine beings. You can play mutants that are crosses between different types of creatures. So someone that has been modified by an Orlog. Those are the creatures or the archetypes that could end up morphing the very reality that the world is made with, called void magic. You can create half-breeds. So this is where you can end up taking any kind of creature in the creatures section and saying, I want access to their boards. You could be hired by a king. So this is more of a story-based bonus, where you end up getting hired by a king for whatever quest you're doing. They're going to be able to support you with a royal treasury. You could have knocker benefactors. So again, knockers were some of these fae that you could end up dealing with, like knocker blooded. You could be watched by the Morrigan. So she's the goddess of death and war and magic in the Celtic pantheon. And so watched by the Morrigan means you're going to get certain types of benefits once per day that you can tap into. Or you could be world famous, and that's going to give you benefits throughout the world of adventures. For your whole party, you're going to be renowned like the Yums Vikings or the Battle Wolves in different sagas. So this is a very quick pass through for the Afterlife options should you ever make it into Valhalla, Glisisvalir, Folkvangar, or Rand's Underwater Hall. Till next time, skål.